give you a certain picture skill description of how well economy now can say position because one thing about inflation is our direct linkage with what is happening.
Yeah.
Because the rise in prices, goods and services. Yeah. So the very moment you hear say inflation is coming down, automatically it means that the rate at which a stabilize it and shut any ways. And for me, I think that I don't affect the average and the ordinary. The consequential impact is very overwhelming. I think I hope things will get better. The stability of the city is another key thing. And again, on top of it, the massive widening in terms of your debt to your GDP. Clearly shows the economy is gradually coming back to life after years of bruises and I think Ghana when things are getting better, your job is to just support and guarantee, because at the end of the day, and for me, I think that is positive.
All right. Just here free and run nearby one here free petitions are abba for the removal of the OSP electoral commissioner. Minority says kwabana sa na say yem pese ebe to corruption ase ade sa ya na yete say OSP na mukra so one Martin pebu issue wa detaining no yen komra say afede we releasing on some say prekesen so yen ka that to aspect no embom.
Okay, yeah, I think there be a say democracy anywhere the foundational way institutions.
Yeah.
So in any your friends saying democracy be grow and mature to a certain level, no, you get in and you realize institutions have a great footholding, because I think your pillars, your friends are beneath the establishment and answer the democratic whole process, you know.
Yeah.
So anywhere over sense weak institutions, you know, it means that democracy there is fragile, just hanging on, and or break down any point in time. That is why I always know Yemubinum have been advocating say it is very important for us to build strong institutions instead of building strong men who will be operating at the behest of their personal emotions or whatever. And the institutions everywhere. In that regard, no, these institutions will be very effective and they will help us to, streamline and also help us fight some of the cankers are very often popping up like corruption. And then as a forum. So with regards to petitioner, Obia submitted seeking the removal of Kissi Agyabeng, the Office of the Special Prosecutor, Nipan Order, and the EC boss, I think they are in line with democratic practices. Because we are not living in a country where the president will wake up a day and say, Mapamu Kofi. No. The Constitution will not allow the president to do that. And the framers of the Constitution thought it wise, such situations will definitely arise. Because with the 2 million power, they can go overboard, overdrive. And some of these, windows have been created. The citizens will also have the right to exploit this avenue that has been created, to inquire whether it is possible to remove these people based on, and yet a series of such happenings. My men started from Kissi Agyabeng. I think my culture of my position on the Office of the Special Prosecutor it was a useless, because the intent and the purposes for its establishment, it wasn't about fighting corruption. Because my culture says in any serious democratic dispensation, if you want to fight corruption, you don't need to set up many offices. It is about the political will and the commitment on the part of the power holders. We are willing to ensure we will crack the whip and allow institutions to work. So the very often you see multiplicity of institutions with overlapping responsibilities coming in, then it shows we are just communicating to the people out there, we are doing something, but in reality we are doing nothing. So the Special Prosecutor, President Akufo-Addo, set up received that idea, then they had a right candidate to be used to execute that agenda. Because at the time the NDC has exited power in Ghana, they needed to go after people who had in the previous administration done A, B, C, D. So their choice at the time was Martin, who was very bitter and very angry, and they thought they could tap into his anger, his venom, and use him against certain individuals. Amatiamedu proves that, no, even though he was angry, but he's a man of conviction and will not allow himself to be used in that kind of game. So he prevailed against those influences. Then at the end of the day, we all saw what happened. Then fast forward, Kissi Agyabeng came in, and then it has been drama upon drama upon drama upon drama. At some point in time, he did a press conference and said the government of the day no tie my hands, and I was not allowed to work. I have a basic principle. Say, ya for adwuma se be ye. Na se nipa na offer se be ye adwuma ne say, Owusu wa no kwan. As a principled person, what you do is to announce to the whole world, resign and go home. You don't sit at the office and draw salaries, and later you come and justify why you failed. For me, that was a no-go area, but that is the kind of the justification that he gave to the people of this country, because Akufo-Addo government did not allow him. A justification, because you walk away. That is exactly what Martin Amidu did. That is what a person of principle and higher conviction will do. You are seeking to impose your opinions on me. I'll walk away and tell you I won't do the show.
Exactly.
You understand? I will not sit here and kowtow to your dictates. And then later I'll go out to tell people, so in seven and TVs in America, exactly. So I was expecting him to have resigned at the time and put the government on notice. You didn't do that, but rather he was in love with the job and the goodies that were coming with it. And unfortunately for him, there hasn't been any case Kissi Agyabeng from day one what may lead to a successful prosecution. Me who say prosecute from day one and all that they tell you is we have recovered money, we have saved this, we have to this SMLD by the very person who broke the lead on this particular case. Manasseh brought the details of it, which led to the subsequent investigation by other bodies, and then the issue became a national phenomenon, and we were discussing. So you later going to visit that particular issue, trying to put a monetary value on it and tell the people, say, oh, they just say, you are a joke. Yet a special prosecutor, Tam, or as a more war, Sudan, and Popping on Moko Sicila da Papi, a coat to Nempa Bacachas and Naduku Sike Gumini, Kikan Sembebre. I don't know the day, no issues, no, but foolish case. It got to a point that says, Babia Baba Junior, we need to refer it to your friend saying Yoko, because we have a bit of your friend saying money laundering and other stuff in it. So it is outside our remit as a special prosecutor as we speak now. The Cecilia Park case has been rendered useless. It was a fertile case which the state could have prosecuted and ensure that we got to the at the bottom of it. Cecilia Park case is saying, and there are several of such cases. And for me, sitting afar and watching Kissi Agyabeng on the screen, I am told he's a very smart, intelligent lawyer. And Omo Watcher Omwadie school will attest to the fact that he's indeed a very intelligent young man. But yeah, I think he has a deficiency. And that deficiency is he's emotionally overbearing. And he's unable to control his emotions. And that has overridden in the sense of reasoning. And so we see most of the press conferences, you could see clearly say, clouded with emotions instead of reasoning. And out of sheer emotions and reasoning diminish bit by bit. For instance, so since former finance minister issue by the series of press conferences I got there. If you go through NASA what's scripted now the chronology of events now consistency in some which was a name in some so when and that consistency is missing. And again, it has gotten to a point you see the office to settle personal scores and vendetta with people they are against him. Classical example, the Martin Pebu case. Martin has been one of the people who have been on the trenches with us, seeking to ensure we protect this estate from encroachment. Any other individual, now state, be now government, be making sure that the minor will be disadvantaged. So he has been a soldier on the trenches. I am not saying that he's above the law.
Yeah.
Or can't say or can't say you have every right to take him on.
Yeah.
But yeah, Martin Martin Pebu alleges that you are a corrupt person sitting at the OSP office. The thing you can do is that as someone can free say you can sue him for defamation. And again, where you require him to provide further and better particulars to justify or authenticate his position, you know, common sense will tell you, say, because I'm saying as a person and a allege against you, your office is precluded from calling him.
The tone we allowed you to park was like even parking was a favor. So I didn't understand. You come in here, we will not allow you to go out. So I retorted that no, he has no right to curtail my rights. In any event, I'm just there to help, right? They said come and give further information. I'm not under any investigation. I'm not a this person. So then I continued going. Then a colleague of his, another soldier, then shouted to me that next time I do that, I will see. That's what I said. Next time. So that kind of threat, the Ghanaian English. Next time you do that, you will see. In Ghanaian English, that means he will cause me some. You will see there will be consequences, even if it's not physical harm, but there will be consequences. So I turned and gave him the same answer that no, he has no right. I'm not a suspect. Even a suspect, can you do that? So I said he had no right. Then next thing I knew, he said, I'm stupid. That's what the soldier said. The soldier said, I am stupid. Oh, of course. So I turned back and told him to that he's also stupid. So we exchanged a few words. And then one of my lawyers pulled me for us to go in. We went, and then, as usual, the OSP chose to present employees. When we had made it clear at the second meeting that, look, considering that almost all of my allegations are against Kissi Agyabeng, who is a special prosecutor, and these are his subordinates. The subordinates can't do much about their bosses. Martin, they say do that. Can you investigate, if let's say, Mr. Nyama, your this COO? You can't investigate Mr. Nyama, much less the MD. So that's the same thing. And even before I was invited, Ghanaians had said it on various social media and private messages to me that how can OSP itself. But you know me, I'm a law-abiding citizen. I thought that as long as they can do something to accommodate that to show independence, I'm willing to give the information. In any event, I'm almost done. I'm presenting the petition to the president for onward submission to the CJ. I have a lot of charges. As I'm talking to now, I have over 15 charges against Kissi Agyabeng. I'm not running away from this fight. So the least they shouldn't have even tried it. You don't try such a thing. You see, you don't try such a thing. It just tells you the very incompetency. My arrest and detention underscores the incompetence with which Kissi Agyabeng sat down and allowed the Furiata to run. Kissi is not up to scratch. Kissi has never been up to scratch. Because you see, how would you arrest people? When I already said it, today is 3rd December. I mentioned on 2nd of November, you can check on the key points that I'll be presenting a petition for its removal. So such a person like me, and you know me, once I say I'm going to do this, I'll do it. So just stay clear of. Look, I don't mind the arrest, even assuming the exchanges with the soldier were illegal and so amount to something that they want to arrest. Remember in law, there's a difference between arrest and detention. The arrest is you tag the person. You are under arrest, I'm investigating you for so and so offense. So when you are done, admit the person to bail, right? Then let the investigations continue. Can you imagine? Said Ablomensa said yes, bail, but I should bring a property in my name. For what? So a soldier insults me, Martin, you are stupid, and I also tell him you are stupid. That's the effect of the words. And
let us detach the office.
Yes, that I should bring property in my name. And where's the indenture? Fortunately for me, my office is just about 10 minutes from the OS. I have indenture in the office. So when we argued, my lawyers argued for about 15, not that continuously 15. My lawyers made a plea that, look, I should be given self-recognizance bail, right? And then said, Ablomensa said, okay, he would go consult. So he stepped out. So we thought it was going to be a favorable response. So He came in about 15 minutes and said no, they would not do so. They will not vary the conditions to give self-recognizance. So then I told Mr. Marcelinus Bia, one of my lawyers who accompanied me, okay, Marcel, go to the office. I have indenture in my name. Just bring it. And my office is just, you can see, you can attest. This less than 10 meters drive to the OSP. So Marcel came, long story short. So Mr. Ablomesa asked that I be handcuffed and taken into custody, that it was too late, and that even when we brought the indenture, they would have to do verification. So practically talking about justification for exchanging words with a soldier who didn't know the writing. He's not supposed to be performing police duties. A soldier performing police duties in the OSP. You see the very thing we'll be talking about. Article 210 of our constitution is clear that, look, you soldiers for war and then maybe some development activities. But here you had the police, two policemen in there, and so if anything, if you think the building is under threat, anything, you use the soldiers as backup. But if you go to the OSP, the soldiers are performing front.
Just talk to people.
See, this thing have been mentioned that soldiers are taking away the work of the police. You see, it has manifested.
I think that we don't need to waste time to go through this petition. The office of the special prosecutor Nankasa, yeah, and for so be any so.
Office lemon,
then back to your friend saying jokers you mugu electoral commissioning. Yeah, I think that you see my culture said these guys are jokers because omu nipa omu scintilla of respect for themselves, an iota of respect for themselves, and kaye niha and ko bia metena ha petition asem. Because what you do is the very moment elections go wrong now, you tender in your resignation and you go home. And that will not be the first time. We've had instances where even more powerful people have been asked to go home. Yet the Chroma say, your friend is saying,
someone check us out and the background for Frobi and Namasi. Mr. Mon check mammy.
So yeah. So what's here, your friend is saying, Nema Akoswa, a month for resigning from a more powerful position as a chain way. Now, no, Yatiana UK, how many prime ministers now resign here? How many? About in a succession because Nema no more in a position of take here, no, I infringe on public trust, public confidence, and for that matter, they resigned and nobody put a gun to their head. But we live in a society that then Obianye ready to do those things. And then back to America, my culture said they had a time, a vice president, Spiro Agnew. Because when he was a senator in Maryland at the time, you know, he was fingered in a case of corruption. When he came up, he was forced to resign as a vice president of a powerful country in the world, America. 9 months after, the sitting president, Nixon, that was when the Watergate scandal popped up. The president was also forced to resign. So this will not be the first time. We've had instances where people have resigned from most powerful offices. So we'll hear how the election was conducted in 2020 and 2024. And some of the commentaries are German Sanin Nkro for Rani will chrome her. Any decent-minded person will tender your resignation, thank the people of this country and walk away. Because some of this petition was expected to petitions are air trying seeking to remove Germans and in microphone a bag so kaya. These things have gone through filter. And into 6 me say ye giant can the bebano and yen near marketwa. Petition na abano. 7 petition no. Let me break it down, yeah. Each brothers and sisters. Yes. You see, some of these petitions you can never survive.
Yeah.
You can because one petition may allege about 4, 5, and now 20 allegations. Even if one goes through, you go home.
Yeah.
So one petition can allege 20 or 30 infractions. Even if one goes through, you are going home. How much more 7 different petitions? Let's say Obia alleged like 10 your friends allegations. So that will give you at 70. If you fall on even one, you are going home. So you don't subject yourself to this. It's not as if said there are people who minorities they are being hounded.
Yeah.
When they were foolishly acting in this particular country against the will of the people of this country, what did they do? At the time, everything favored them. When we were very much concerned about the sanctity of our democracy and the fact that the actions and the inactions of the Electoral Commission at the time, could turn this particular country into a war zone, they never heed to any of the wise counsel that anybody said. IPAC, which has for a very long time has been some sort of a body.
Yeah.
We engage dialogue and seek the way forward. It was at some point in time you weaponize it wasn't anymore about dialogue.
Yeah.
It was about accepting in toy parties and toy presidential candidates and using the numbers to do elections on key issues. So the culture of having to deliberate and come into a consensus was thrown away. The Electoral Commission was dictating at the behest of their individual wishes and rather well imposing it on political party. Is the reason why when NDC dropped out of the IPAC, the Electoral Commission could not do anything to bring them back because they thought, but we were going into a very crucial election and the security of this particular country was on the line. Yeah, we sat in this country when J. Mensah deliberately on Friday cut the people of SAR from the register.
Yeah.
And they were denied constitutional representation for a period of 4 good years. That alone is enough ground for their removal. And if possible, they need to even go to jail for that. Yeah. Because that is a constitutional requirement. Our constitution, every Ghanaian in every nook and cranny of this country deserves a representation in parliament. So for you to unilaterally sit at your office and your friends say a whole community, the diabolic intention was to ensure that Amewu will win the seat for the MPP, and that's exactly what he did. And subsequent to that, she could have conducted election for the people. But we sat in this country for good years. Minority, not much China. They went for holidays, so they didn't see what has happened. So people say, you see, politics here, yeah. We need to do this policy of decency. Sebaya oba abontina wo allegia, a man of good conscience will find sense in whatever you're saying. Say, oh, asema papa ike no creo. But you do not build such a castle of such nonsense in your favor. And at the end of the day, people are seeking to break down that castle. You come back and complain. Yeah. No sensible person who agree with you. So for me, I think that the petition that have been submitted to the president, they are in line with constitutional requirement, and President Mahama doesn't have a choice, because once it has been submitted to him, it is his job to forward it to the Chief Justice. They establish the prima facie or not. Yeah. At the end of the day, if they are able to establish credence, then the committee will be set up and the necessary thing will have to be done. And subsequent to that, the president will have to follow through with the dictate of the committee. And that's exactly what is going to happen in this particular country. And for me, I think that, you see, these are shameless bunch of people. On their own, they will not resign. Just like Toko, no, the way by this same individual, because now we are electoral commissioner. Now we are sober reflection. Now two anywhere near my Koso Kroma. But Machoma no free University of Ghana by friends Boss Manasari. This is somebody from academia. This is somebody from academia. Yeah. All on board, you could see a certain intelligence will be brought to bear. But onokra de na onokra de na choka. Yeah. This is a guy who made a categorical statement here. One of the critical stakeholders in the electoral enterprise process, and at the end, this, a threat to Ghana democracy. And this person sat there as a neutral arbiter and an independent person who was supervising elections. Does it make sense? And J. Mensah, the belligerent posturing that they assumed, oh, Makasa Yebeya, the registration center, no, our district level, no, there, a lot of people were denied because Okonofwa to travel from a district capital to some of the villages, yeah. Now Afenyo obefa car na okwan yentimi register na hwan na ekohan dan ama na dam our district ho. This stop a lot of people from exercising their franchise. And I think that if you want evidence, you can go to the north and you get millions of evidence. So for me, these people have crossed the Anakwaba Kubio Council for Nitete. Also in Klasikasa and Nasefo. And these people, such uncultured beings, should not be sitting at the Electoral Commission. When issues came, very contentious issue, and people were doubting the credibility of the electoral register. What are some of kind? Oh, register na to about that. Yes, this is somebody who feed from the taxpayer. This is somebody who feed from he rather uttering nonsense to the people of this country. So for me, because they did all these things because they felt they were in a comfortable zone because somebody brought them on board for a particular agenda. And so far as the person was in power, their tenure was safeguarded. What I say? And the 2020 elections, 2024 elections, the parliamentary elections, look at issues. One of them, Pandaya. So this Pandai issue is another prima facie for the incompetence of the Electoral Commission. And several of such cases are likely to pop up. So for me, I think that nobody on his right senses in this country can sit and say the Electoral Commission is being hounded. O can say binasabi ebia watia faso kakra because we obi a wote krom ha na wo hu dia the conduct Electoral Commission is conducting omo. You see, we live in a country very reactionary and emotional people. Asemsi and ya catch say, oh, let us forgive. No, we cannot do that. For me, I think that some of these things, we need to establish the conventional red lines. Yama man for who say your file say be easy. Your file say be Chief Justice and ya wona na konwa and enya wo fia konwa. Unti metena so fa medin sem hunu. A day of reckoning, a day of accountability will come. That is the message that we need to send to people out there so that we all be measured in our endeavor. Because President Mahama is the president of this country, but he cannot wake up a day and say, "Me na me president, me pemeye, o yira maje, o yefeze usika na bank mafa." He cannot do that. Because he is also operating as president within the limit of the law. What I say? But you cannot sit in a public office and be acting foolishly and belligerently. They were not amenable to wisdom. They were not amenable to reasoning. They were acting at the behest of their own twisted kind of emotions or whatever interest that they had at the time. This is the time for us to go through the constitutional process. I don't care what anybody says, oh, Mahama Baye, or try to. He's resetting the country. And anybody, any individual, any institution, biana, the actions or inactions, denting the credibility and attracting the foundations of our democracy must go down. Because no single person is bigger than this country. And I'll be disappointed if President Mahama doesn't do that. Because that is what he told the people of this country. So I'm sure, now he's ready to go through everything and nobody should sway him. The constitutional process should be allowed to go through another day. If it is established that J. Mensah and his people are clean, they should continue to do their job. We will welcome them with double arms. But if it happens that the actions, the inactions, in the past, threatening your democracy, the constitution can say fertile grounds for their removal, then they need to go home. There is no pity about some of these things because actions must have consequences, and there is no way to go about it than to make sure that these petitions go through.
All right, Doda Watara, I don't know if I got your name correct. I think I will complain with the sound. I think it has been corrected. Ni Paku Ado. Was it Yazaki your sound guy? Oh. Why it has been sorted. Tracy Spark or say, okay. Oh, then I think messages in the margin war innocent submission also. Mofanchem why Blaze say yeah, read your message and fix the problem. Patcho, the problem has been fixed. Tracy say it's now okay. Kobina Ochria or see you are not. Oh, I'm reading the comments. That's another more.
So they can't sound on back.
Oh, I think there was a background. President Mahama voice be enamasie. And now said they are finding difficult to hear what they know. Ruby ABC or say, oh, okay, it has been fixed, so don't worry. Bliss or say Ivan is a top-notch communicator. Abdul Razak or say they read comments after the show. My wife said the money number bomb charge. Noah the ark builder. But say this country doesn't just need anyone keke to lead us as a nation, but a pragmatic and decisive, competent person like Dr. Brian Champo. John Kofi or say good morning, yeah, Majo. So Beneza Mokto, so good morning, Mr. Ivan. As for you yesterday, but I'm praying that Class Media Facebook will not disappoint me. Please, I hope you are not disappointed. All right, thank you. John Kofi or say yeah, good morning, Pacho Maje was so Pimpina. Hey, I guy name and answer saying say that this the shareholder mean to me in Kawo TV. So OSP is like air coming out from rice cooker. It's just a useless office. The office must be investigated and jailed as well. Cause too much finance the state. All right. Yan to us so na issues no edoso ye be hwe na afi yet me make justice to all of them. Fallout from NPP revised constitution and NPP for so more assisa wo mra na Justin Kodua Frimpong and Ivan who follow ya or say ade ba ko say na apathy asi wo party. Say some people felt neglected and then they've decided say review your more constitution now more be jumano or more the old ABI executive MPs ebeka about one to participate in the upcoming flag bearership elections there, because I think that is what they are saying. Say a party now is see what party more say one of the issues more Owusu elections, you know. And at the toss to be so almost some boy yes and for so boy say yeah dear ye me I no na the kwaso president Mahama move no mayenka na power is transit nti enra dem abebre na course so launching of their new constitution. Innocent.
Yeah, I think Justin Kodua is the perfect person to represent the state MPP woman.
Okay.
Yes, because he has demonstrated clearly how incompetent he has always been, and that is the sad state the party finds itself. So you see the mirror reflection. Yes. So so I am not surprised, because there be a cancer. The sad state MPP are degenerating into a na. So more bia born somewhere. They should look straight into President Akufo-Addo. No one can say he did not only come to destroy Ghana, but rather he came to destroy the MPP as a tradition, from which our money to me money be because ever since they exited power, if you look at the state MPP go ma. What's in China, where you'll be aware admirer of Ghana's democracy, clearly you become disappointed because you might wish the MPP as an entity become more responsible, more efficient, will be led by men of higher moral integrity, conviction. But ever since they exited power, demonstrating nothing but incompetence, recklessness, and unreasonableness elements, you know, are quite overriding in the things that they do. For instance, when this idea was conceived of doing this top-down approach, maybe I can't be. They thought, oh, what the more anti-MPP enthusiasts. And whatever that comes up, whatever that comes up, we go for it. But President Kufuor came out and said the same thing. Is President Kufuor anti-MPP enthusiast? Kwame Pianimba, the same thing. The statement we made, he re-echoed the same thing. Said he didn't find any sense in what the MPP was doing. Makacha said, he who the gods want to destroy, they first make mad. Because this is people they are jump over Ghanaians. They think they are sitting on a certain high horses better than Obia.
Yeah.
So whatever they perceive to be right, you know, that should be the state of play. Nothing will convince them to slide. And consistently, you could see that the party keeps degenerating and flop into the gutters. Even in doing their job as an responsible opposition party, that is not what they are doing. Go to Parliament and see how people like Afenyo Markin has transformed the place into a comic stance where people go there and, you know, argue nothing but nonsense. That infuriates Ghanaians the more. Because what we watch proceedings in Parliament in quite recent now had the posturing of Afenyo Markin and his people and the debate on the topic, you know, and the kind of posturing the positions. And very often, let's walk away kind of stance now. It is not something that convinces Ghanaians to forget about the excesses of the Akufo-Addo government, but rather it is rather an extension and a model Parliament, because you don't lose power and now assume a set posturing, very stiff. That media and some opposition, whatever happens, I'm against. You see, you must begin to appeal to the conscience of the people of this country who gave you a technical knockout in the elections. Now, no make a platform, we say, so aren't me as somebody, when you're worried about the depreciating numbers of the MPP. Now, I say, what should I be worried?
Are you part of them?
No, why should I be worried? I appreciate that the party will be efficient, but the fact of the matter, the numbers MPP have in parliament, if they have to blame, they should go to Akufo-Addo's doorstep and ask him, because he led a historically bad governance in this country. And no outcome no bunya. When they went to Kumasi and they wanted what you call, your friend is saying, the people of Wei, one of the largest constituencies in Kumasi, my friend is saying, when they were asking for a road, the president sat on radio. Kwabre. He told them when he got to the election, they to show their thumb somewhere. They decided not to vote. So if you had your fans are poor numbers in parliament, you come back and blame me. So there is no sympathy. Nobody is going to. After losing the seat in parliament, even playing opposition role, you keep losing the numbers. You keep losing the numbers. So for me, I think that we need to sit down as a country. Now you're looking through the fine lines and tease out how opposition parties are supposed to behave. Because that is not what they are that is not what they are doing. And then put themselves up for elections. Me makatra manfo say o he nipa yo motwahia de o he nanima animonyam kakra wom our person of high conviction value your friend say Kwabena Japan. Yes, and he is the person and MPP could have defaultly come say okay, the Ghana for form their party in Namui. Kwabena Japan is somebody sharply he's disconnected from all this nonsense that happened under Akufo-Addo. And he's a person who has proven to be a bit of a higher integrity as compared to the rest. And I agree, I am putting him there as the new face of the MPP. For me, that may even appeal to a certain Ghanaians. But you look at the individual like Brian Champon, who was at the center of a lot of criminal activities in this country, including the Ayawaso West Wagon, saying a pandemonium that occasioned. You look at Baumia, who led the most abysmal economic downturn in the history of this country, and there was a haircut and other excesses that drove this particular economy into the gutters, and who again, Kennedy Japan, who has verbally committed a lot of criminal atrocities against others. And I'm not saying so many people. This is a guy who has proven to be emotionally unstable. He's not predictable, and you cannot rely on him. What you go haywire at any point in time. The presidency is a very nation. You are armed with the highest authority of the state. You cannot be unpredictable. You cannot be somebody who cannot be predicted and say, "I'm your president." Now they are about Nibufua, they are not by. And then the other guy, also can't the education minister. On my counters or no, or Sesofo, Uncle Pentecost, non microphone, Uncle Preachy. Because he's not even, there is nothing about him that I care for president. And some of these things, rather identity the aura and the sanctity of the office. Because the seekers, must reflect the office. If you get to a time where any unruly character, any incompetent for anybody at all in the name of having amassed money through fair or foul means, you can say, I want to be president. You should know that country is in danger. Because the presidency is being seen in a certain light. Because in the past, Papa he will be a fine president. But now, there is we don't attach that aura of reverence to the office anymore. Say anybody at all can papa say I want to be president. So I think that the MPP is an arena of comedy show in series, and I think that the outcome will come. Ghanaians will know, because the opposition job there, that is not what they are doing. Even in opposition, look at the way they're conducting themselves. Common engagement with people like Kufuor and Nko Krano. Kufuor has complained many times. Say, oh no, Obian ho engaging. And again, people who left the party, like Mimia Solo, Alan, and several others, a certain effort could have been made. Say, okay, we made a mistake, so let us try to bring it. But they will never accept that they made a mistake. Now this is my running or my to the gutters. They still say, now I want to apply for. And somebody was telling me, say yeah, elections today, Ghana for MPP. So they will vote. They say you are jokers. you are a joker. Because no rational sane person will make such your friend say analysis on TV. Such analysis no natural by what we are when you how you can say that for fun. But it's not an argument we make on TV where rational people are watching. So I think that they can continue ridicule 2028 is not far. And as long as John Mahama and his government continue to deliver on the mandate and the promises that he made to the people of this country, now, Ghana are not forgetful. Yeah. And they will make sure, sir, they will reward him for that. Why you continue to do this dirty stuff in opposition? I think the best thing that will happen to them is the party leadership must be changed. The Afenyo Markin, whatever he's doing, will only satisfy party food soldiers. It's just a mere party food soldier. They don't even understand the actors and the dynamics of politics. And they all appeal to foot soldiers, but not reasonable minds. But in politics, you need to get the reasonable minds on your side to be able to win any election.
All right. So, hello, good morning.
Yeah.
There was some coming mouth penalty.
Now, one of the come up penalty, and now maybe drew higher some one new program. There were
the last 2 weeks.
Yes.
There was a challenge, but I didn't see a fixing, you know. And I don't know. I would have
a challenge. Challenge.
We are
my member was given. I chop a mood from what I for say. Bakumi, you been to my baby.
I mean, we saw call baby and son. Okay, come on, Sadia. Now the metana question.
Is here no Zagumana dorsal. Tia now, you know, a Obudi tot. But then you have bedroom, Hanama bedroom. 3 minutes go make a massive. You have a big glass.
All right, so far you come here, no back cabo, mamma me. Electoral Commission petition, special prosecutor, the minority say, we special prosecutor, and I say, abandon pursuit to corruption, I say, and Nra or send detainee. Na what they or more review of constitution no atwa so maja to say na a party our party nim and say one be involved with the past executives to get involved in voting activities and many other things that they talk about.
Yeah, me that's Richard Ivan so me the woman say your friend is a many minority na ya adwene say ye OSP on them wa corruption no into us here to say ye need the alliance ye be konketa session asem na obuka sa da chire why am obuka asem why am mo mabaso so say obuka the try na mo analyze na because senye OSP we na wo ha ono Afenyo na wo no ECG chrono keta session proya ono say ECG ye wan say ye wia e krobe ba na so ma be mu pa na obi be kasa asem na ocho na OSP ne dey echo. And you OSP win over Ubia Kutu Amana 97 million. Oko scholarship secretariat, we are fake documents and Kofwaji Husika, OSP Tiho, Otiasia, National Service D. Now Concoy. Baby, look, Adima men who Kruma.
I knew my
V at the airport. You see, I cried the Abbe a zip line. Say, and yet, if you say,
I know we are
condom. Apart from that, you know, ye Tiabusu will be $528,000.
Yeah.
How about Cabrania with you? And it's a minority, but catch say, we OSP a corruption, no? Moi, dear walk catch us and we if you are a home battery. Timamun, you know, send a bear about attack into way. House of folk near you come goalkeeper. We are back as a mon clear my OSP Munin free of us. And our crowd was assembly. Pebua was say assembly cry. The crowd are born 945 visible now on sorry for resignation letter. And I say you need because you are so sensitive. You are not investigating Pebu on any corruption charges.
Exactly.
and only the mandate of the office or investigate corruption and corruption related offences. That's what the music abra.
Yeah.
People now, what's the we invite is on the boa me you now. Some member I don't know any time. Say one day soldier ya kasa so dey na time go fie go so. Ah, people how go dem trust so. People say oka tell so you stupid. I go say we are stupid also you are stupid. Ah, people why you nyina.
Super stupid.
Men fan go fie go so ho. Say yes the Bible say obi bo aso wo ha do da wo akwa na otwe na adwene left. Wo bia bo aso wo a.
What the boy there?
Otwe na adwene left.
Na san kwase a principal na ya
Say obi abo me masumo ha. Na ma sa dane ha dia ma. Na maso asi.
Modam.
Ah ono so na sumo ho. Bombi. Eye patupa get to get. E ho na. Eno ntina
one na wabo two.
Pebu de enro ano eye so omuja na omo ayo omuti na ye.
Oh amanya na ka no pay e be deja.
Oh na ano pay so ko mi am free am e ko ho. You see OSP no on ne ho. He must be told. Keno foriata obi also ochi no eye keno foriata eye omo amabobo di so mo wie oman no.
Yeah.
Onche wo obi a ono kire na adwe so wo ye corrupt no wasan so ready so oba wa ba be prove na wo kura ka no be a court ni o judge a judge in your own court
Yeah.
wo no de so bo na bo
Na wa se.
wo san so be so tena so na wo na agura de kuro be kura ni na when young man be chin in Jefferson Samida ko no kasaba had
Ba asema making
strategic
asema make na so no ha.
that's okay well yeah no be kasaba hat maybe tax me to be change you tell
Yeah.
who know be kasa try be kasa because your position is linked to the fact say Kissi Agyabeng it is say ofiri wa muni adwuma it just say ade ni nsem hunu kwaro
Or defend. And he doesn't even know how to talk.
and you know sa OSP we dey maka also and on one be resign na nye fefefe ni nyina yenye dey ye move on that's all office no kwa yenye ni papa bi amode muntu na enwu budget ye fan ko kato ni general ya kase corruption institutions kwa do so do yoko shrad ni yenke kambom some person nya ante ya na nya one na ya mumra ni nya yenke kambom ni hu se corruption a institution di hu se ye ntu ase ane de so bo no ye de ekobo na we dey we so anti money laundry mu we so corruption and corruption related offenses we so human rights we dey situation no eno tie ye ni sa ebe boye MPP for the say and I'm so go the constitutional
Review.
na metie me abenua kodia besresa se kodia wa adwuma ko fato ho si yetu fo senye general secretary kwa na ya adwuma na gidigidi ube ya general secretary be ya and one was say I want to be nya adwuma there is no constitutional amendment e bet me prepare free Ghana for three say ye $97 million akoto amana and into uchenyi anase wa amend the constitution na ye refi ni akoto abama entumi sano. There is no MPP constitutional amendment e bet me prepare free Ghana for three say inflation at a point could do 54%. What's the constitution into no e china yem koto abama. There is no constitutional amendment to make me prepare free Ghana for three say at a point na you turn you 300 cities rage ya ma maybe ko wo your friend Aisha okowo ye ne ba ton 300 cities konkontompo second important mo so you turn you 300 and the kufuado nipa o nya ice water. There is no constitutional there is no constitutional amendment e bet me asesa the fact say Ken Ofuriata or this why born into what danye free on my and no better na papa hwe say me die ya ye ka ya nwie yi say sika puduo e be na constitution na wo amend no e bet me papa mo na mo kwa akoto aba mu nyandu ba bia we si we boni won kai we si we die 16 we si we die 30 we die 40 ye firi o na mba kire yare e obi a we abodam we autism ana se si akura de eldamua o ye friend attach ya Ghana for the motherfucker okay
Mate
wo elder wo be kire o be ka campaign kire ya o si Ghana for the motherfucker baby a campaign akodu no enuti sa Ghana for no mo wie na wo nyan hu yo ya to abey say ya ko 7 December ya na 1 year.
Yeah.
Na za ka be say 2 or 3 days so. Won say still Ghana for no di omobufu NPP so.
Yeah.
Pe say wo mo ni ya omodi e fam no. Na nya hogro so. Na mo ma be go banks bebre. Amendment pa de betumi asese free nkofo tiri say no oye adwuma Royal Bank, oye adwuma Unibank, oye adwuma Capital Bank, oye adwuma UT Bank, oye adwuma Heritage Bank, oye adwuma all these banks ye gu no what if you won ye adwuma. Now so ko ye constitutional amendment ni the refi. How is it going to erase that? Ana pedi bi anso ni party no. Ye ka nyina anti we and we for ya no ahoro bia bronye fa Canada no ahoro na obkese obi edu obi atem kwasi botwe young man
kete ne ma me kora me ne yepe
can you na wa ukese na dia ya no cross san kora we nyina so ya bere wo party na chia chichire no ya nwu ho no mo but on beto mamu ba omi am because ba omi na kase no nka party no ntira asa amanfrafo aba party mu o mu nim kwa kora ni ntino omo se no omo se no so awi and the party the only thing also go ba na omo ya say omo kase ye guru obi abeje de share se wo na omo medom UP ba che beduru ho
okay
hwese and the party yes rerun wo mo
ya
pandai omo headache pa yes rerun na obo yo but say be yo mko akoye campaign no already nyinami on say pani bia nimti no mo ye internal elections ono so ono support ba omia
yeah
ana omo north area tribal politics etia Brian ne Kennedy
yeah
on say nyame on pebone ana by election
abeto
rerun ide aba eti Kennedy for say okay some say ba omia de bibia ba northern side a all the be winning nyina
yeah
enti won gongoji to me yimbra chene nyindam ni tipa nyina ne se be ya ba omia oni credibility wo no obetua kwa kwaji to me no aba enu nchi na omatam omonyooma omode ko Supreme Court afi the technicalities se emra obo file case no kra na 21 days no apa meanwhile one kasa wa affidavit in opposition wa affidavit ade oppose plaintiff ne you know wo kire wo yindam na kire ye say Electoral Commission gazetted results on the 6th of January.
Yeah.
And the 6th of January, 21 plus 6 as year 27.
27.
It is a filing case on the 25th. My mistake.
Only a mistake.
Because the judge said, I didn't know that. The governor who said, your money in Koye. Now, be a wouldn't so because Supreme Court. Now, when your minority leader to me a press conference, I said, the judiciary in the atom. What do you get the way strategy bedo nyan kwada dwene e na party egu a baby a wo kwakọ pepere ye no wonyan kwakura ne ye buabua no aka so be kasa wo
kangaroo court
na wasanso aba be di won atem wo ye wasa akọ ho adwene ba yu abra wo e na anu ye awonko ne Ghana ni lawyer ni a ye ma sa 12 o'clock by 3 o'clock la kuta results ono kwa ni Ghana ni a wo tumi ma Supreme Court tena say Friday Supreme Court for travel na mu wie ya
wasa did you
matter mi wa case e hye na Akufo-Addo na president na tokonu na chief justice o to na assign judge no kra o te say obi ye na adwo so bedi boni a na say tokonu ana na pese di boni say o say judge na nya papa dia na say tokonu na share da kofa judge onye say go fa bedi boni so no kra ye ntiana April year 2025 year Obuasi East returning officer ka say NDC Samuel Abwaje wini omotam court ka say no NPP ne wini na sa ta kangaroo court ni yo another mpre nye court ya o si kangaroo ya e ka say another mpre dey we na NDC go nya strategic crowd say ga wo opportunity so be tun mo so Obuasi East your friend is is Awamadu Ajiri no atena ho near the awo ni na wo de ba ko we kura yen ka so bi elusu yes aba na mo koto ye no ekinyu aba ho mo nsan gongo ye ni bio nyendam oso we ni ba 3,700 something ba na ni pa etu afiri kro no aye 10% of the voter population and yes mo mesen san ko bio to abanama we asem
enya asem bia ehu
ko election ya afidi adane bo achibidi eni atembidi eni akika no mbe yesa because party no eni eyi a chese sunsum bia nimbio enti wona ofiri akwati aba ya buru wani susu ya a wunya hu so eya sa kasa by heart ye na akwati aba ye say na so Ghana for afio on kwa kejade ni sie
fumfram
so Ghana for afio
ane
enti omo sa start Ghana for afio ade nyame ncha de ba kwa sa be top andai
mon kwa je me ehwe
say do meji ya ma omo gabo no me ma tu nyendam fo say wanya kakra bi wo the bank account o mo fa go to tomprede on fa go a mistake it say you can lose 2 days at ube lusu seat na say lusu sika na sa party e friend MPP unya go di opposition na woni bibia ye come there be deal
and sadly that guy is a gentleman. The way he has conducted himself,
because you see Pandana Ngasa nyina no original MPP ni o because Pandaya traditionally NDC seat omu wini ya till 2012 ana nyinam ebe independent candidate so I say enuti se omu nyinam na nim say look se si anu nyome wo ho no so kwa obede obelusu enuti MPP di omasem de nyame na ya adom a Akufo Addo tiase a egu a papa pani wo hwe a egu a mani age se satan ye kana no wo gu no ofisi ye ntuskedifu okay ya na no wasa slange wo ye wo tudu ha ne ye a wo slange wie so enunti eye now the next one there wo se wa ek ana enva no
fa bom mo fa ne lithium no mom
lithium no there makam asem say they must immediately rescind the decision
yeah na I van de yapon
in fact if you say nya musika mo man ncha asase na se and now yenya time wa sika kura ngofo so be ba be $185 million no enye sika ehu bia Ghana yentumi emfa sika no nkofa enko hai ise wiase be bia de
na gold board nkwampo sika dodo se no mo de
ma the gold board kura national service enye wi national service lithium 2.4 billion wo say obi the $185 million ba be ship ye tu ya de
ye betu ya de
say ye nyanye ready na le bo for mo de mu nyanto ye ma lithium na duane wo ba bia edrum mra nkwada no ba nyine nya technology na ye ntumi say bibia sa ye mistake with petroleum and our crude ye nyamo ade ba bia ye mistake with our gold ye mistake with our bauxite with our manganese with our iron lithium we nyame kura na ya adoma ma ne obia cheche say e no kira mu say munyanto asa mo Ghana ni bia na no Ibrahim kokoje o take over Zuma yi be ni je Sabudi say foreign na power be fa ko de kam Ghana ni
fa Ghana ni
ade o tuna so discard ni nam ye diso ha ya minim say nam krom ha ye dey security but say be ma go fo barari adey sikari just gabia $185 million si be mu gwa bom oh dabi chano de men support it and will not support it today to have that say o man pen so wa friend stakeholders say Monsanto take a second look o man pen mesro take a critical look at it na ye make sure say Ghana for no today e will lithium no so but me my proposal na say dey be ye bia ye ma Ghana ni nya de no
okay
ye mwa Ghana for no munya sika o betumi aye ye betumi register $185 million no ne akofa experts na sanga govo ya akofo mo no this am ye to expertise say ya na otia no mo akọ Middle East de o ya no ya titi na we expert ya no matam sika bro ba be ya adwuma we man o ya say o ye mo ye tua kana ko ba sa ne ye no o ye ni special talent wa ya ma wa ji sika so tia say na emeye Ghana fo japade na ye nsu ye nidim wa se ne de ya na ye who say who out kwada TV so matter fire them quarter them better unsia
de ye na mo be no
kwada nketu a ye ni awomo a mo nkosu de mutu ka kire se mo ba beje mo ma be no kunu kwada be ya we na no ba ku bi wa djuso wo he style ne ma menye bi da okay akonya
de ye no
ebusa ma mefo activist one mo di 60 years mo si so mo tu ya
wa Davidson
kwada yi ye ba me fo yi ba wi ase ye nyira kwada ti
kitchen stool kura de
kitchen stool
me bi da e so akura ti me ye
na kwada ye tumi aye style na ko ye style ya enye ho do. But for me it is a true reflection of our state of now in the past no we are too much.
Yeah, no more practice in
a teacher for teaching. No more try exams, no quada, or the more vigilators, or more copy. If you say, yo, about a movie about medical doctors.
Yeah, no, our pioneer
bonnie. And Mrebian, why a chest in this will be fairly. As I see him say, or my names will be failing to know, and you have more opportunities over to reset. So I say, Abba is saying, or say a tenacity near man quadane failure, no, or who also Mushiadia. So I say, Mushiadia, or Mukono bomb one there,
yeah.
Ah, now we are facing a remedial about 10 years, a chain of pass here. Who is better than him?
There be
a vigilation, the money you're tight. Maybe a man quadania. Maybe oh, now I can't jam class up or crowd meti. Now maybe way. I don't remember some metric classes and be a leaky. I don't want to know. But because I'm cultural with my strength.
Yeah.
Be failure, be failing. Be passing, I'm passing. And until that is it in the past, near your true results.
Yeah.
Or beating. The sort of students they more. Obu on more common myself cry the man. So what invest would hey, the one who's been there in January. Annually, and this is the true state of our education. Now for my textbooks, you know, and start going to secondary school, young boy.
Yeah.
And starting co. Now we for no so kakra ibinyano ye invest wisely. Say extra classes ne be ya man kwada na. Me am first carry nkonko twa ye num ye nya omo. Ye mfam wo omo. I mean I'll rather prefer say sika me be si dan me be he me ma. Munyina mbesi a. So no ma kosi. Because dan be si ama on no e bia obenyina ye kolo. Enye baba.
Outmoded.
Nti me so be si dan ama. And I cry ya higher what you see dan cry. Me say cry ye nyigidie say ma be nyina ba be abede omo. Because you GDS oba ebenyina yo bi papa anase titire oman mu a wo house aman you hear na so obeboa no in this career projection say bia a bakery no person you after school wa boa no asua ho nimde na watua agina baba asa no baba be enoti results no there. For me, this is what we have been saying all this while. Okay, maybe or we for the quarter past question. Man, Kwadala call we don't do matter. We did not say you feel say we never. And Kwadala getting now, you say, Gen Z generation, yo. Be a fast track, fried rice. Yeah, the fast
AI.
It doesn't work like that. Yeah, bro. And the most of Montias, yes, sir. The end is yeah, you get the best out of them. Now, Omra Swintino, but the Manuesi.
Ivan, for lithium, no was no my point.
Yeah, I think that your friends saying Wasi. I've said a lot about it, and I think said there will be a second main sure say anything stranger see.
Yeah,
it's just a true reflection of state of play.
Yeah,
over the years, and I think say you're making education some sort of a political way be a tool. Politicians seek to harness political capital. And I think Samra Free SHS by there was clearly a deliberate attempt just to monetize it in terms of political capital. So the dividend out will be communicated. So yeah, the buyer we didn't form to our. So we adopted a lot of desperate measures.
Yeah.
Yeah, making sure we fixated on the results. And one of the famous comments that the president made, they say, your friend is saying Akufo-Addo
graduates
because they had a good grade as a forum. And Asemba Kwamam for Nkanese over the since 2020.
Yeah.
Ghana breaking away from WAEC. WAEC na ye tro ha na ye nkwaya de.
You West Africa.
And yeah, West Africa de. Nti ya na ye tena asati your question ya mark ya de doesn't go to any. So it made it quite easy to, have any sort of influence via person results no so. And this change of government, but this year so still but I think that the supervision this time round a change and the report from the grounds said there was a deliberate attempt at supervising it properly, and into over 600 mobile phones from TV that so we examination when you
the mobile phone
recently na me ko treasure so be na me watch you and me yes me wura na me hu say your friend says watch bomb America be a me too ya me come buy two baby no because what you wanna say obina you may not be using it but explanation be na be for obi a JSS ni obenya akokoduru akwa wura examination hall the phone was send the bottom esu ChatGPT na say for no clearly say the whole concept of education you know grounded on a certain outcome pass get your A B and go. That is why I me so much worried about educational design. It's very pathetic, yeah. Makatra said the whole essence of education isn't about whether you get A or B.
Yeah.
Because whatever grade that you will face the circumstances of life, whether A or B.
Yeah.
So the essence of education should be designed in such a way that ever impact positively on and develop you as a human being. So wherever circumstances that you find yourself, you will be able to navigate the storms of life because education is supposed to give you knowledge, not resource. That is why at last time I catch it over the years, you modify your education into paper chasing enterprise. And anadwo amanfo eko school, we amanfo eko school, ahomache weekends, all in the name of chasing a particular paper called certificate. And there are many no free in some now team and we are I dream be any team no than that is a problem. But education is supposed to impact. Yeah, but now how would the casa, would analysis, would someone church want to this guy is educated. You don't need a piece of paper.
Say you are
and no move free secondary school banner. Apart from results, at the end of the Bible saying nothing. Morally, they are corrupt. Socially, they are not enlightened. Whichever aspect be able to say they went through an institution. The institution didn't go through them. Education is supposed to modify you, transform you into a certain person. Say, people should see certain difference in you.
Yeah.
What I say, and this exams are man for failure minimum beer or first one of failure, second of failure, and then why the masters?
Yes.
What I say, so the system should focus on Nippon because I don't know Obian and Dia, Obiha watch Radia, Obetiwa, or Pekidina, Obiha, they need series of way. What I say, and the
means you have your crana mantra and
yes, but the educational system